Next, we have Vince DiCaro. He is the Chief Outreach Officer of CareNet, an organization offering compassion, help, and hope to women and men considering abortion. It works through its network of pregnancy centers, organizations, and individuals. He oversees the development and communication of the organization. Before I invite Vince up, I'd like to show you a video.
So that you actually are among the first human beings, at least. I don't know what other creatures might have seen it, but among the first human beings to actually see that video. So we're really excited about what we have going on there with our brand new church initiative. It's a curriculum called Making Life Disciples. It's the first of its kind, unique program that will actually allow churches to put pregnancy care ministries inside their church. So to no longer really kind of, I guess this sounds sort of crass, but to outsource the work of pregnancy care to pregnancy centers, but to actually take that inside the church and use the transformative power of the church to help people with those decisions right inside the church. But I want to take a step back and talk a little bit more broadly about just digital engagement. So I came to CareNet about 18 months ago, and even though it was 2014 when I joined CareNet, when I went to CareNet's website, I thought it was 1997. And so, if you know what I mean. And you know, I think we had a couple thousand, maybe 5,000 people on Facebook, a couple thousand on Twitter. We actually didn't even know how much web traffic we had. And so one of my roles there was to address all of that. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how you can do that. It's not rocket science. There are some things that I think you could actually probably start doing tomorrow or Monday, when you go back to your office on Monday, after the snow clears out, hopefully, and to start increasing engagement, traffic, and just interest in your work, your blog, your organization, whatever it might be. So to paraphrase one of our former presidents, ask not what your audience can do for your website, but what your website can do for your audience. So when you're building a website or changing a website or doing whatever you're blogging or whatever you're doing online, you really shouldn't be asking yourself, you don't want to build something that will help you accomplish your goals. That maybe sounds a little bit counterintuitive, but you shouldn't be asking yourself, how can we build a website that's going to help us accomplish our goals? How are we going to reach our goals of traffic and exposure and subscriptions and all these other things? What you really should be asking yourself is, how can we build a site that is going to be a tool to help our visitors accomplish their goals and their ambitions and the things that they want to do and address their pain points? And then something magical happens, which is that you actually end up accomplishing your goals by helping other people accomplish their goals. So let me unpack that a little bit further. So basically what you're doing in a word, I suppose, or two words, is something called inbound marketing. Some of you might be familiar with that, but I'll explain what that means. Essentially what you're doing is you're creating a magnet, okay? So the old-fashioned way of doing things, I suppose, is that you have a bullhorn. Is that what they're called, a bullhorn? And a lot of animals coming up in this discussion. So you just scream out to the crowd and hope they're listening. You interrupt their lives in a lot of ways. Think about a TV commercial. You're watching your favorite show and then a commercial comes on, right? It's an interruption, right? We don't want to be interruptions anymore, right? People are getting smart to that whole thing, and they're skipping commercials. They're watching it on places where there aren't even commercials. So we need to be clever and create content that is going to be a magnet for folks. And so I just got a reminder that I have to speak at ProLifeCon. So I'll be right back. Oh, okay, good. All right, I'm in the right place. That doesn't always happen. So make sure you tell my wife. So this is what you're going to do in order to create a magnet that's going to help your visitors accomplish their goals. It's called inbound marketing. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to create personas. You're going to ask yourself, who are the people that we want to come to our website? Who are they? What do they care about? What are their pain points? You can literally create profiles, give them names, Joe Visitor and Jane Visitor and whatever they might be. You might have various audiences, and ask yourself those questions. Who are they? What do they care about? What are their pain points? And then you're going to start creating great content that answers their questions or scratches their itches, okay? So I could probably spend an hour talking about what is great content, right? But I'll say 3 things. I actually thought of this morning. Clever acronym here. You want to ace your content, okay? You want to ace your content. You want it to be authentic, consistent, and energetic. Authentic, I struggled for a while with this. I thought I was trying to write blog posts that I thought I was supposed to write, or I thought other people wanted to read. And then I said, you know what? Why don't I just write the blog posts that I think I need to write? And I've become a much better writer since then. I'm being more true to myself, so my content is more authentic, and we try to carry that across our entire organization. You want to be consistent. You want to have some consistency to your messaging, so that your organization isn't saying different things in different places in different tones, and all that. I mean, obviously, there's going to be individual style among the people who are writing and creating content for you or your organization or your blog, but you want to have a consistency there. And energetic. I mean, if you're ever getting bored, if you're bored creating the content that you're creating, odds are that the people consuming it are going to be bored too, and then they're going to stop coming. So keep that energy level high. All right, so that's step 2. So step 1, persona. Step 2, content. Step 3, and this is sort of common sense, but sometimes people skip this or gloss over it. You have to push your content out, right? You can make the greatest content in the world, and you might get some organic traffic, and that's important, but you need to make sure that people are seeing it. So social media, search engine optimization, blogging, etc. Push that content out there. Next, now this is where it starts to get more interesting, and this is where the magic started happening in terms of what CareNet was doing. You're going to create certain content, the really special content that really scratches people's itches and answers their question, and you're actually going to put it behind a form that will require people to give you their email address in order to access that content. So this is going to be the sort of stuff that you're like, you know what, this is good enough. This took us enough effort. This is helpful enough. This is scratching enough itches, answering enough burning questions that we're actually going to make people, earn it, so to speak, by giving us their email address. And this is how you build your email list. And I'll tell you the results of this so that you don't think I'm just making this all up at the end. So you're going to put it behind. You're going to put your really good content behind forums, so that that will require downloaders to give you their email addresses. And then what you're going to do, and this is where some software can come into play in this whole inbound marketing framework that I'm talking about, that you immediately thank those people and follow up with them in an automated fashion, assuming you're getting enough people doing it. You probably can't write individual emails to everyone who's downloading your stuff, but you're going to start creating automated email workflows to thank and engage the people who have given you something. They've given you their email address. They've entrusted you with that. So you want to thank them and start to engage them in a polite and tasteful manner. And if they don't like it, they'll unsubscribe, and that's fine. And then the next thing that you're going to do is you want to start communicating with them regularly based on what got them in the door. So if you have, let's say one of the things that you're providing that folks have to give you their email address to download is a research study that you did. So those folks, you should keep them in a list, knowing that those are people that are interested in research and studies and stats and things like that. So you're going to want to continue communicating with them on a regular basis around that sort of thing. For us, we have folks who are coming to us simply because they just care about women and men who are, considering abortion, and they want to minister to them one-on-one. They want to sit down with them at a coffee shop and talk to them about this decision. So we provide them with tools to do that. So we have one in particular, 10 things not to do when a woman tells you she wants to have an abortion, and it's a tool to help what we call life advocates start to minister to folks. So they're not really going to be as interested in research studies and that sort of stuff. So we want to continue to communicate with them on a regular basis around those sorts of things, ministry tools, life advocate stuff, those sorts of things that are going to help them, again, answer their questions, scratch their itches. And then the next step is to repeat steps 2 through 5 over and over and over again, consistently creating authentic, consistent, energetic content, then putting the best of it behind forums, collecting email addresses, thanking people, and then following up with them consistently based upon the thing that got them in the door. Research, helpful tools, maybe it was a donation. That could be another way. So for the folks that actually get in the door through a donation, obviously you're going to want to talk to those folks a little bit differently. sharing success stories, things like that, things along those lines. But again, consistent communication with those folks. So let me give you 3 quick examples. I already kind of gave you one. So for our life, so one of our personas that we kind of talked about was, I forgot what we called her, but let's call her for now Jane Life Advocate, right? So she just cares about those millennial girls that are considering abortion, and she wants to help them, right? So we created a tool called a white paper, 10 things not to do when a woman tells you she wants an abortion. It's not actually, I shouldn't even say white paper. It's a list, very practical stuff that you could just tomorrow sit down and actually talk through somebody, talk through a pregnancy decision with someone and start caring for and ministering for them. So that tool now sits behind a form on our website, and we've literally gotten thousands of email addresses as a result of posting that particular piece of content. We also obviously are a pregnancy center organization. Karen, it is. We have an affiliate network of over 1,100 pregnancy centers around the country. So pregnancy center directors come to us for help. So we created something called 7 Keys to Becoming a Center of Excellence. Right? Another 5-page document maybe. About that much text per point, really practical stuff, things you can implement that day. Thousands of people have downloaded that piece of information from our website and have given us their email address for the privilege of accessing that information. We also want to talk to the general public. So John Q. Public. We had a much more clever name for that guy when we were thinking through this. But what does, just your average Joe who kind of cares about this life issue, what are the sorts of things that they want to do, want to get that's going to help them answer questions they have, address pain points, help them accomplish their goals? So one of the things that we thought that would be really helpful was to have all in one place, really just the most important latest statistics about abortion. How many abortions are there? Just all that sort of stuff that you kind of have to go to 10 different websites to get. So we put it all in one document, called it Top 25 Abortion Statistics in America, put it behind a form. Again, thousands of people have downloaded that, and we've gotten thousands of email addresses as a result of that. So, and then I want to just say one quick note about our overall messaging, and a message that we're really talking about a lot here over these couple of days here at the March for Life, is this notion of being pro-abundant life. So you're going to see that. I talked about the C in my little ACE acronym was consistency. So you're going to see a lot of that coming out of CareNet in the next several weeks or months, hopefully, that we're really kind of talking about. We're not pro-life anymore. We're pro-abundant life, okay? And so we want to change the narrative a little bit, humbly, boldly, I suppose, audaciously, to use a popular word these days. So pro-abundant life, that's a message that you're going to see across the board in our materials. So the results. Let me just quickly get to the results here of all this stuff that I've talked about. We actually, so CareNet's been around for 40 years. So in the first 39 years of CareNet's existence, we generated X thousand email addresses. I won't tell you how big our email list is, but we had this number of email addresses. In the first year that we launched our new website, we actually doubled our email list. So it took us 39 years, email wasn't around, I guess, when we first started, but just go with me here. 39 years to get those first X thousand, and then 1 year to get that same number of email addresses over again. So we doubled in a year. And a subset of that is that we really had no email addresses, 0, from just regular people. All of our email addresses were donors or pregnancy center workers. We had no John Q. Publics in our email database. Now we have tens of thousands, okay, in 1 year. And if you look at our web traffic in December of 2014 when we launched the new website, and then look at it in December of 2015, a year later, we tripled our web traffic. So, and we did that simply by reversing the question. Rather than asking what we wanted to accomplish with our website, we said, how can we build a website that's going to help our visitors accomplish their goals, achieve their dreams, answer their questions, and scratch their itches? So there you have it, care-net.org. Just take a look at it, and hopefully you'll see some of the things that I talked about today. Thank you.
Thank you, Vince. We appreciate you and your team and all the hard work you've been doing to help women and men choose life. I've had the pleasure of working and speaking with Vince, and I feel so blessed that we have him to give the Pregnancy Resource Center movement a big facelift, and we're really excited about the church outreach program.